Eddie Soldiers. I know it's like the first week of September, so am I too late to hop onto the August book haul train? Man. Apologies, Pumpkin has decided to go crazy because apparently there's a bead going to murder the entire family. Oh, August, you by far have been the month in which I have purchased the most books since my birthday, which was June. So I thought that I'd do an August haul for everybody watching because it's first week of September. I'm going to be introducing one that was put out on the 1st of September, but I just got it like a little while ago, so like it counts. And as ahead of time, there will be no spoilers in this video, so you can watch it away to your heart's content and not have to worry about the dreaded spoiler hand. First up in this haul, I found all of these at a thrift store. The entire Heroes of Olympus series. Holy crap. So it took me a little bit less than 2 weeks to read this entire series, and I'm gonna put them down now because they're really heavy. I read and fell in love with Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I love that series. I've read the first of the Egyptian Carter Kane trilogy, so now I have to work my way through that one. And now he's coming out with Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. I'm so excited for that. Rick Riordan, you rock my world. This series was so well written. It was really funny, maybe even funnier than the Percy Jackson series, which is a feat all to itself. Perkabeth! I have been hearing about my next book for a little while from just some booktubers, and I actually found it in the thrift store, so it has the original cover that I'm not too impressed with, but I still decided to give it a go, and that is Finnegan of the Rock. I haven't started this yet, I just know that it's a fantasy thing, and it sounded interesting when I read the back flap, so go to Goodreads or something and check this out because that made me want to buy it. But of course, I'm a bumbling fool who can no longer remember what it's about, so just trust me and say that if I'll read it, it's probably a good choice. Next up, I got Queen of the Tealing by Erica Johnson. There's a lot of hype surrounding this book, and it was an interesting book, and the court politics and politics of the Queen and this new world are very interesting, and I'm very interested in the villain, the Red Queen of the other continent world section. She seems like a character that I want to keep my eye on, and the main character, Kelsey, is like, whoa, badass. And not because she's good with a sword, but because she gets stabbed and is like, whatever, there's a sword in my shoulder, yeah, whatever, just keep going with the ceremony. Like, no, you're getting kicked out of the castle tonight. I don't care that you're my uncle, you're going. Oh, what's that? You have all these jewels and women that you want to bring with you? No, they're mine now. Things I didn't like about this book, it's really slow for me because there's so much world building and information that I'm kind of like, that's nice, can we please get along to the plotline now? And there isn't really a love thread in this. There wasn't enough to keep me interested. There's like a teeny bit, so I kind of want to know how that's going to progress. Wasn't like super impressed with it, but I did like it, so I bought the sequel. Oh, why do you two have different covers? It's gonna bother me so much. So, The Invasion of the Tearling. Title kind of says it all, and I haven't started this yet, but I can't wait to go for it. Coming up next, one I was so excited to get, The 5 Stages of Andrew Brawley by Sean David Hutcherson. It's an LGBT book, and it has to do with this kid, Andrew, who lives in a hospital, and then there's this new patient that comes in who has bad burns all over his body because people set him on fire for being gay. There's a really interesting comic book theme kind of to it, and the main character draws them, so you get a panel or two of his comics every couple chapters. That was really interesting. I really like the dynamics of the hospital and the dynamics between him and 2 of his other friends that are in the cancer ward, and they're just adorable together. Speaking of LGBT, I finally picked up Aristotle and Dante Discovered the Secrets of the Universe. I did, however, not think that this was as good as it was being hyped as, because there's so many awards and everyone all over the internet was like, oh, this is so amazing, the best book ever, it's gonna be so great. And I mean, I love the title, I love old literature, I love both Aristotle and Dante, but something was lacking. I expected a lot more, and I didn't get it, but I still did like it. I thought it was cute. Next 2 books I got when I was on vacation up the coast, the first being After the Red Rain by Barry Lyga. Barry Lyga. I was like, alright, I'm gonna buy this. It was interesting. It's a dystopian with the whole like, oh, people have wrecked the world and now we can only eat, you know, spliced turkey DNA cubes and we live off electrical rations and whatever. And it's like a love story, and the girl is working in a factory and the guy is like this one that just shows up sometime. People think that he's a spy for another part of their country, but he's not, but he's really interesting. His name is Rose, and he's literally a flower boy. I'm gonna let you figure out that part for yourself. Again, not as good as I thought, but I didn't really have very high expectations going into it because I didn't know anything about it. I just saw that it was very light and I bought it. So I give this like a 7 out of 10, maybe like a 7.5. Like worth the read. I think it's interesting, but I don't think I'm going to buy the sequel. The other one that I bought is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I had just seen this all over Instagram and all over Tumblr and stuff, and it was like, well, it's a pretty cover, and the back sounded really interesting about this princess who doesn't want to get married, so she runs away, and then the prince and an assassin both find her at the same time, but don't know that she's the princess that they're supposed to be hunting, and she doesn't know who either of them are, and they don't know who either of them are. So it's this whole kind of like cute, like lovey, whatever. I was not impressed with this. It just sounded so neat, but it ended up being really sappy, and I don't know. She's not that strong of a female character, I don't think. She's a strong princess, but just not a character, if that makes any sense. I just prefer a little bit more Pirates of the Caribbean action sequence. So I finally broke down and bought this one because everyone's been talking about it and I've seen it all over the internet and apparently it's like some big thing, so I finally broke down and got it, and that is These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I enjoyed this. I loved the banter between Lilac and Tarver. I thought it was an interesting concept. I just did think that it was a little bit out of place. It was supposed to be a space adventure, but then some kind of weird like paranormal thing came in. But the love thing in this was adorable and they had a good connection, and I really liked how Lilac changed as a character. So I might end up buying the sequel to this because it was definitely interesting. I give this like an 8, maybe like an 8.5. Okay, for the most recent books, one that I finished reading already was Never Always Sometimes by Addie Al-Said. It was so good and so adorable. Oh my gosh, this ranks in my top 5 contemporary novels ever. It's about Julie and Dave, who are in their last semester of high school, and when they were younger they wrote this never list of things that they would never do because they didn't want to become high school cliches. And then for the last semester they're like, what the hell, let's start doing some of the things on the never list. And it was really cute. I really loved the connection between them as friends and then also as kind of a relationship, but not really, and you'll know what I'm talking about once you read it. Both of them are very full characters, which you don't always get. One that I just finished reading was so cute and I loved it. The complexity of the plot and how contemporary it is and how it deals with an issue that's not really talked about in books. Whoa, Rachel, what the hell's this book? The Boy Most Likely To by Hundley Fitzpatrick. I hauled and read and adored My Life Next Door, and this is kind of a companion novel continuation of My Life Next Door with secondary characters Tim and Alice. Tim being kind of a guy that got in the wrong circles, he's decided to turn a new leaf, but his past catches up with him. There's this big drama thing, and then Alice is his best friend's older sister, and he's always had a crush on her, and she kind of, you learn a soft side of hardcore hot Alice that I really enjoyed reading, and it was really emotional. One of the most anticipated sequels probably of 2015 I bought as well because I'm also highly anticipating it. The Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. The second of the, what's it called? Wait, what's it called? Ah, The Diviners. The Diviners. Oh man, if you're ever interested in paranormal stuff or ghost things or anything like that, it's perfect for you. It's set in the roaring 1920s. I really am interested in some of the subplots that were going on, plus the whole like paranormal ghost thing. I just cannot wait to read Lair of Dreams because Libba Bray is a writing genius. And last but not least, the book I'm most excited about, the one that came out on September 1st, heavy breathing, Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. Fourth in the Throne of Glass series. I have not read this yet, but by the time this video goes up, I probably will have. The ending of Heir of Fire was so intense, and I just need to know what happens to Dorian, and I need to know what Kale ends up choosing, and I want to know how the king ends up being with Aedion, and I need to know how Selena and Rowan are getting along, and I'm just, excitement. So there's my ginormous book haul of August. I've spent a lot of money on books this month, oops. Leave down below if you are also excited about some of these books. I don't really do book reviews, but I'm kind of thinking that I might have to start, just because I want to talk in depth about some of those. If you have read any of the aforementioned, no spoilers. be a good person. I'm trusting my fans that they are good people. Click over here to like the video and click over here to subscribe. Oh, and for those of you wondering what my shirt says, yeah, it was. I'm going to go cuddle up with the Queen of Shadows and some sweatpants and some tea and read the bejesus out of that thing. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are, and I'll see you next week. Bye!